Good evening, live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman television. Here we present to you tonight's news bulletin. But first, the headlines. The Ministry of Health announces 21 new confirmed cases with COVID-19, which brings the total number registered in the Sultanate to 298. The health undersecretaries of the Gulf Cooperation Council countries discuss medical readiness in hospitals and availability of medicines and necessary supplies. And the COVID-19 cases death toll around the world exceed 65,000. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq received a cable of thanks from His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa of the Kingdom of Bahrain in reply to His Majesty's cable of condolences on the death of His Highness Sheikh Ahmed bin Mohammed bin Salman Al Khalifa. The Ministry of Health announced the registration of 21 new confirmed cases with coronavirus COVID-19, which brings the total number of registered in the Sultanate to 298, including 61 recoveries and 2 deaths. The Ministry of Health calls upon all to adhere to the isolation procedures by staying in an isolated room with an attached toilet and serving the isolated person from outside the room as instructed. The ministry also advises all citizens and residents to keep on washing hands with water and soap, as well as avoiding touching the face, nose, mouth and eyes, and following the hygienic habits when coughing and sneezing. The ministry also urges everyone to adhere strictly to social distancing instructions issued by the COVID-19 Supreme Committee and the Ministry of Health, as well as staying at home and not to go out unless absolutely necessary. Their Excellencies, the Health Undersecretaries of the Gulf Cooperation Council countries discusses medical readiness in hospitals and the establishments of medical factories to provide medicines and necessary supplies and evacuation plans for students and patients abroad. During the video conference, the stock of medical supplies in the GCC countries was reviewed, in addition to discussing measures to limit the spread of coronavirus COVID-19 in the GCC countries. Their Excellencies also urged the citizens and residents of the GCC countries to apply standards of infection control, avoid gatherings as much as possible, and maintain preventive safety measures in such cases. Rumors are a threat to society, and the spread of misinformation increases during the period of crisis. It is abundant with negative aspects in virtual words to extend its impact to reality, but the accounts of the official authorities on the social media, audiovisual and read media had been on the lookout as translation of the decisions of the Supreme Committee charged with follow-up on developments of the coronavirus and relevant authorities, including the judiciary, to combat these rumors which are far from reality. During this time, worshippers do not go to mosques as they are closed institutions, shut their doors, curfews in many countries, and isolation of cities that were months ago full of life. Corona, the hidden virus that invaded the world, changed the details of life, taking them to paths that cannot be predicted. The Sultanate worked to tighten its procedures, calling on everyone to reprioritize them, to keep everyone safe first, and calling for social distancing to achieve the required results. The Royal Decree number 32/2020 came and aimed the penalties or amend the penalties of some provisions of the law of infectious diseases. The decree stipulated that anyone who did not report a contagious disease be imprisoned for a period of no less than 3 months and a fine of no less than 1,000 Omani riyals. Also, in official statements from the public prosecutor on crimes committed in connection with the spread of coronavirus confirmed the arrest, interrogation, precautionary imprisonment and fines on people, and issued warrants for the arrest of violators of the procedures of home isolation. To keep up with the current developments regarding the COVID-19 pandemic, the Sultanate took precautionary measures to spread awareness among the citizens as well as focus the efforts of all arenas. Since the beginning of the registrations of confirmed cases with coronavirus, the Sultanate started to be in full preparedness to deal with the situation, especially after the announcement of His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq to form the Supreme Committee dealing with COVID-19 developments. The Minister of Health also took necessary measures to spread awareness among the citizens as well as prepare plans to deal with future infections. Meanwhile, the land, air and sea border crossings are being monitored during this period. The Sultanate took various steps based on scientific evidence and the developments of the pandemic situation as it stopped flights from the countries which have confirmed cases of COVID-19. The educational institutions were also closed in addition to preventing gatherings of all sorts in public places. The markets were also closed, excluding food, stuff and basic commodities markets. As the situation develops, His Majesty follows up the efforts of the COVID-19 Supreme Committee as he ordered to establish a special fund to deal with the pandemic. His Majesty also stressed that all shall cooperate in dealing with the current situation. The hospitals and medical labs around the Sultanate also are exerting great efforts to deal with the COVID-19 cases. The team of the emergency response plan resulting from the spread of the coronavirus in the special economic zone in Duqm called for full cooperation to enable it to carry out tasks assigned to the mechanisms of dealing with developments resulting from the spread of coronavirus. The team also called on all companies operating in the region to abide by the guidelines and decisions to prevent this pandemic, while clarifying that meetings are being held using digital remote technologies. The tasks of the group include preparing a response plan for emergencies arising from COVID-19 with projects operating in the region and follow up with their implementation in coordination with the bodies concerned.
Non-compliance with the directives of the Supreme Committee dealing with coronavirus COVID-19 exposes you to risk and legal action. Stay safe.
International news. Italy's health minister outlined plans today for border testing and beefing up health services as part of a package of measures that would follow a future easing of the country's coronavirus lockdown. Roberto Speranza said it was too early to say when Italy would be able to lift the measures imposed across the country on March 9th, when it became the first country in Europe to impose a general lockdown to slow the spread of the virus. Italy, which recorded its first coronavirus death at the end of February, has 15,362 fatalities with 124,632 infections and 20,996 people recovered. The smallest daily rise in COVID-19 deaths for nearly 2 weeks yesterday, and the first fall of a number of patients in intensive care have fed hopes that the epidemic may have reached a peak in Italy and focused attention on the next phase in the crisis. In a rare address to the nation, Queen Elizabeth II plans to exhort Britons to rise to the challenges of the coronavirus pandemic, drawing on wisdom from her decades as Britain's head of state to urge discipline and resolve in a time of crisis. The 93-year-old monarch is expected to acknowledge the suffering that many families have experienced because of the COVID-19 crisis, which has infected over 42,000 citizens in the UK and killed at least 4,313 of them. She will seek to lift spirits and offer hope to the country in its hour of need. The Queen gives yearly Christmas messages, but has given an address like this on only 3 previous occasions. She delivered speeches after the Queen Mother's death in 2002, before the funeral of Diana, Princess of Wales, in 1997, and at the time of the First Gulf War in 1991. The Queen lauded Britain's beloved National Health Services and others in essential services, together with some 750,000 people who volunteered to help the vulnerable. The address was recorded in the White Drawing Room at Windsor Castle. The location was chosen specifically because it allowed enough space between the monarch and the camera person who wore personal protective equipment. Meanwhile, the worldwide number of fatalities from the novel coronavirus rose to 65,272 today. More than 1,206,480 declared cases have been registered in 190 countries. Of these cases, at least 233,300 are now considered recovered. And from the newsroom of the news readers and editing desk, here is a special message from them.
The world is continuously witnessing an increase in the spread of coronavirus. Follow up the updates from the official sources to prevent the spread of this pandemic.
Abiding by the precautionary measures would play a vital role to curb the spread of coronavirus. So, for the safety of you, your loved ones, and for the whole of Oman, please stay at home.
The coronavirus is affecting the life of millions worldwide. Here in Oman, we are sensing this effect as well. Let's work hand in hand to curb the spread of this virus and protect ourselves, our families, and everyone residing in our beloved country. Stay home, be safe, protect life.
By not adhering to the precautionary measures, you're endangering the lives of your loved ones. So please stay home, stay safe, and remember, this too shall pass.
We're all in this together, so don't worry about the hard times, because some of the most beautiful things we have in life come from changes. So stay home, stay safe, and follow the precautionary measures.
Coronavirus infection is at an ascending level every moment, so let's be vigilant in implementing the precautionary measures to curb this contagious virus. Stay safe and healthy at home. Sultanate of Oman Television will reach you wherever you are with updates.
Let's work together to limit the spread of this virus. Please stay home and be healthy.
And now, the precautionary measures released by the Supreme Committee are being implemented by all. More details in the following report. Within the efforts exerted by all to limit the spread of coronavirus, citizens and residents, old and young, have been strictly adhered to the Supreme Committee decisions on all precautionary measures, suspending all activities that causing gathering and the shutdown of business centers except for grocery shops, as well as reduction of staff at workplaces, appeared to be well observed. People only go out if it is necessary, example for shopping.
Indeed, it's very important to maintain distance between people. Please, guys, stay at home. If you have nothing important to do outside, you want to keep coronavirus from spreading, and keep healthy.
Hi, I'm Scott from the UK. I've just come for the shopping for the family, coming to do our shop and then heading straight back home. It's important to follow the messages, stay home as much as possible, and stay safe for you and for everybody else as well.
The scene today, Saturday, at the seaside in Muscat, where many people attend together for weekends, no one has been noticed. The place is completely empty. This following interview was conducted just one day before the Supreme Committee issued its decision.
I am from Algeria, and I say it is important to follow preventive measures to be safe. Keep yourself away from gathering.
Dear all, Corona is an infectious disease. Please stay well, stay at home. Don't go out. Save your family, save the country. Be Be always clean yourself. Clean your hand as much as you can. Stay home, stay home, stay home, and be safe.
Roads in many areas of Muscat are either empty or with a few cars seen, thanks to the cooperation of all on working towards preventing the spread of coronavirus. Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman Television. And now, before we end this news bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Minister of Health announces 21 new confirmed cases with COVID-19, which brings the total number registered in the Sultanate to 298. The health undersecretaries of the Gulf Cooperation Council countries discuss medical readiness in hospitals and availability of medicines and necessary supplies. And the COVID-19 cases death toll around the world exceeds 65,000. And with that, we do conclude this news bulletin. Thank you for joining us and good night.